Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you 4 supply savers for card making. These are ways to kind of stretch your supplies and make sure that you're not wasting your cardstock or your embellishments and using everything that you have. So the first way I like to save is in my cardstock. So I keep a small box next to me where I make my cards of used white cardstock. So anything that I cut away from a card, maybe a card that I messed up on, but I could still use some of the white space on it, I'll throw down in this box. And I just have all different size pieces. Some I use to make sentiment strips. Like for instance, if I have an old frame that's not usable on anything else, I can stamp a quick sentiment and trim it off of that. I also use pieces of paper cardstock where I have like a little area where I can stamp a little animal or something to color, and I can use up that cardstock that way. Another way I use it is for ink blending. If I'm trying out some inks or tapping off my dauber, I just do it on the piece of cardstock, and then I can see what the color looks like or kind of blend off my paper and not make a mess on my table. For my colored cardstock, I've shown you in my previous video how I save it in these ticket envelopes, but I also save all the little pieces that I cut from my colored cardstock, and all I do is just put them in the back of the ticket holder, and then I have full sheets in the front and little pieces in the back. For my pattern paper, I keep all my cut strips. I put them right back into the paper pad and just keep them stored. And this works well for me because I keep my paper pads upright, and so I can just flip through them. Having something to corral your stamps and dies on your table is really important. I use this magnet from Spellbinders to keep all my dies all in one spot, and then I use a small cup to put all my stamps in as I'm done using them. And then at the end, I know I have everything together and I can just put them back in their packaging. I've had situations where I've had to feel around on the floor or look in the garbage to try to find a clear stamp, or I've actually found one stuck to my lamp. So it's definitely helpful to keep something on your desk to put everything in so you don't lose them. So supply saver number 3 is to use a stamp platform or positioner. And I have a couple. I have this one from We Are Memory Keepers. I also have a Misty. And basically, these tools just help you to stamp and restamp a crisp image every time. So if you need to line up a stamp in a certain way on your card, you know that it's always going to be in the right spot when you use the tool. If you maybe don't put enough ink on a stamp, you can restamp it and it will go into the same position every time. And so it's really handy to have something like this so you're not throwing away a beautiful card that you almost finished, but then you had that one last sentiment that you messed up on. So definitely it's worth having a tool like this. For wooden stamps, I like to use a stamp positioner. So there's this one I just got from Wendy Vecchi that you can use with her Make Art Station. And this is just kind of a, I don't know if you call it a half square, but you line it up and it sticks to the Make Art Station. And you push the little plastic rectangle up to the square, and then you stamp your image onto the plastic. Then you position the little, or it's actually acrylic. You position the acrylic block with the stamped image on it where you want it on your card. Then you line up that partial square again, remove the acrylic block, and put your stamp in the same spot with the ink, and it stamps exactly where you want it. So this works really well too. A couple of extra steps, but it's definitely helpful if you like to use wooden stamps like I do. So supply saver number 4 is to have a box of extras. I always do this as I make cards. Sometimes I'll make a couple of something because I'm not sure if I'm going to make 2 of the same card. So I'll have some extra embossed pieces, extra die cuts, that kind of thing, extra frames. So I kind of just keep everything in the front of one of my pattern paper baskets. And these are some examples of some extras I have. This is just a stamped piece. I have a heat embossed sentiment that I know I can use on another project. I have some dry embossed pieces, lots of frames. I like to put frames on the fronts of my cards. So sometimes if I'm out of ideas, I'll just grab a frame, grab a couple of die cut flowers and line them up, and that's a card. I have a couple of die cut pieces too, just like some floral stuff. Just things that I know I can grab really quickly to make a quick card. It's just really helpful to have. Sometimes I'll experiment and try different things. I've got this kind of painted piece here. I've got this embossed piece. So if any of the parts that I don't use, I might trim off and use the usable parts, or else die cut like a circle or something out of them. This is just another dry embossed piece that I can cut maybe a circle or a square out of. Sometimes just if I stamp a bunch of images, I'll have one that I can just color in really quickly and add to a card. I always have some extra embossed basket backgrounds. I like to use those with flowers. And this glitter piece I had for something, and I just kept it because it's on some thick cardboard. So I thought that could be helpful for a backing. And this was just another stamped frame that I didn't end up using, but it's definitely would be great to put on the front of a card. So those are my four tips. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I'll see you in my next video.